Good afternoon. I'm Mark Jones. I'm the State Director for BSM, for Baptist Student Ministry, the Collegiate Ministry of Texas Baptist. And I'm here with Robert Rueda, who has been the BSM Director at UT Rio Grande Valley, RGV, for 13 years. And we're here at Abide, 2-day prayer retreat with 600 of our closest friends. We've got just a great group of students and leaders that are here. I want to just thanks for coming and meeting and sharing a little bit. I know that you've come up. What'd you say? 7.5 hours?
Yeah, 7.5 hours.
7.5 hours. It's a small van ride.
That's right.
To right outside of Austin. We're at the Highland Lakes camp, and is this now? Have you been bringing students to Abide? In the past?
For several years now.
Several
it's
years.
Become part of our DNA that we know. Come January or February, depending, we'll go and take time to pray with all the BSMers from across the state.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like that's been something that you've been intentional about being connected to, and your students have gotten a lot out of that.
They love coming here. They just think prayer is good, and also they leave learning that prayer is not only good, but it's effective. So
it's effective. Yeah. Wonderful. And that you bring a good-sized group, and they connect with students from all over the state. Is there some value, Robert, for them to meet students from other places?
Yeah, I think when people come together, it's always a powerful thing. And then you add the prayer component, and it's like bonus right there. So I think that's always a good thing is they see other students like them who are praying like they are, who are trying to reach the campus, and then they leave just encouraged.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Now, Robert, we had 6 of our leaders that taught seminars, kind of small group breakout times that were options for students. You know, one of the really neat things about Abide is that students really have a lot of freedom. We have these seminar experiences with a handful of leaders that lead those, and we have worship times at the beginning, at the end, and then students have a lot of freedom with the different prayer experiences, prayer rooms, and we're in just such a beautiful setting. They can walk down. We're on a lake and all that. Well, tell me, you led a seminar.
Yes.
And am I right about being bold?
Yes.
In your prayer?
Yes. It was a very challenging workshop to prepare for, but I did it. So.
Oh, very good. Now, tell me a little bit about that and what you shared and what you feel like students were challenged with.
Yeah, it was basically teaching students to pray boldly. And that's just a very difficult task because I was telling them that praying boldly cannot be taught. It can only be practiced. And Jesus did teach us how to pray, but I don't think that he ever thought that we were going to have to teach to pray boldly, because prayer by itself, it's already a bold act. And that's what I was telling them. You need to learn to inform your prayer life through Scripture, and that will lead to bold prayers. And we reviewed a few of the bold prayers in the Bible that have been made. And then at the end, we close with some practical tips on how to pray boldly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have a big idea of what God can do in their lives and on their campuses. And well, how wonderful.
Yeah, and I gave them a theological basis for crazy prayers. That's what I call
crazy prayers.
Yeah, and those are
only
prayers,
crazy from the outside looking in.
But not as God operates in this world. It's an exercise of faith that will always lead us to ask for more than we can do. As you were sharing last night, that God can do immeasurably more than we can think of ask. That's a big statement. So that's kind of what the basis of the workshop was.
Well, somebody once said that if we're all we're praying for is what we can already accomplish in our own strength, it's not really a bold prayer.
Right. A student came after me, and she was stating how she wants to use her career to be a counselor, and I said, well, kick it up a notch. What do you want to do? And she says, I want to speak to the nations. I want to counsel the nation. And says, I don't know how that's going to look like, but pray for that. God can answer that. We will see in the future how
God's faithful to unfold what that might look like.
You're
for
not
to be
just relegated in your office counseling people as they come. You're to pray boldly, to do more than we can ask or imagine, and God will answer. So
you have conversations with like that all the time with your students, don't you? Where you help them look beyond, to be faithful in the here and now where God has placed them, but also look beyond about how God can use them as they leverage their career, their
Right.
vocational calling
Yeah.
to serve.
And I think
serve
that's
the
our
Lord.
job as BSM directors, is to help our students have a bold faith, because they need to be on campus. That's the place where you learn. When it takes an exercise of faith to go to the campus when nobody's expecting you to be there. Everybody's walking to classes, and then you intersect that.
Okay, we're going to stop right there, Robert,
Okay.
because your ministry, the ministry you lead,
Right.
you equip and you empower students to engage the campus. We were saying 21 different groups and
Right.
times during the course of a week.
Right.
You've got different creative ways to engage students, and you table on campus. We use that term tabling
Right.
to mean you set up a table and you look for ways to engage. Tell me about just some of your approach there and
Right.
what you've seen the Lord do through that intentional effort.
We define outreach as creating opportunities to share the gospel. That's what it is. And those opportunities materialize right there and then, or sometimes it takes years, meeting a student weekly as they pass by and then leading them to the Lord. But like I was telling you, it takes students willing to just show up to the campus, set up shop in the middle of campus, and then do something. And it never fails. Like,
what are some examples of things that you've done?
Yeah.
Maybe simple but yet creative ways of meeting people, engaging, and then sharing the gospel.
We've got a great group of our female students that go and they set up shop and they put a sign that says free nail painting. And then girls sit down. You have the girls there for several minutes sharing the gospel, and as you're painting, and it is so interesting. We've seen several decisions. One time, 2 girls gave their lives to the Lord right there and then, just by painting their nails, and it's just so amazing. So we've got about 20 of those, and I got to give credit to the students and to our campus missionaries, because they're the ones that come up with them. My goal now is to encourage them to be bold, and they come up with their own things, and that's incredible.
Tell us you were sharing about a recent idea with a couple of freshmen.
Yeah, during our free lunch, 2 of our students came to us, and they're like, "Hey, we have an idea. We want to do a new outreach, and we want to go to we were reading that cell phones are one of those that carry a lot of bacteria. So we want to go to campus and we want to sanitize those phones and put a screen protector and give them back to the student, and then give them a flyer and explain to them that that's exactly what God does with our lives. He takes us and he cleanses us, and then he sends us forward." I thought that was amazing.
Well, what a great culture you have, and that freedom, Robert, to have freshman students. Sometimes you have freshmen that are like, well, we're just in the learning phase. We're not going to really be used at this time. But instead, you've got this group that feels the freedom as freshmen to have an idea and then put legs to that idea and carry that out by using something creative.
Right.
But yet that's just the vehicle. That's the opportunity they have then to share about the life-changing power of Jesus.
Right. And my goal is that they leave. The way I look at students is today they're young college students, but tomorrow I want them to be young professionals committed to God and committed to His church. And that's kind of the students we want to produce and bless the church with.
You don't see just those 4 years that you have the student. That's not your vision. Is beyond that.
Yeah.
For preparing those men and women for engagement in. Hopefully they're engaged during their college years, but especially following whatever God's called them to do vocationally. They're going to be faithful, prepared, equipped ministers in their churches, able to do those same things of reaching out wherever their business is, wherever they've been placed by God.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want to see. Is a reproducible concept. It not only happens on campus, but you can take it anywhere you go. And I think that's our goal, is that students graduate as missionaries wherever they go.
Oh, wonderful. Robert, that's so exciting. I'm so thankful for your leadership at UT-RGV, and we're excited about what the Lord's doing on your campus and the lives of students and the lives of professionals as a result of your leadership.
Yes, well,
Again,
thank you so much for hosting events like this, and for Texas Baptist to providing just this environment for this can only happen because of that. And
we're so grateful.
Very thankful.
So grateful. We're grateful for all the directors, the student leaders. We're thankful for Highland Lakes Camp that hosts us and allows us to have just this great opportunity. Thanks again,
Thank you
Robert.
so much. Thank you.